The town of Oakhaven was always shrouded in mist. It clung to the cobblestone streets and whispered secrets through the crooked chimneys. The scent of wood smoke and old paper hung heavy in the air, a constant reminder of the town's antique soul. At the edge of the market square, nestled between a bookshop and a bakery, stood a shop unlike any other. Its sign, barely visible beneath layers of dust, read Edward's Emporium of Time. The shop window was a mesmerizing display of intricate clocks. Grandfather clocks stood tall like ancient sentinels, their polished wood gleaming under the dim gaslight. Pocket watches, nestled in velvet-lined boxes, whispered stories of forgotten times. And on a shelf, surrounded by miniature cuckoo clocks, sat a silver pocket watch, its intricate engravings catching the flickering lamplight from within. It was this watch that had caught the eye of a young woman named Clara. Edward, the clockmaker, was an enigma. His workshop, tucked away at the back of the shop, was a sanctuary of ticking pendulums and chiming melodies. He moved with a quiet grace, his hands calloused yet nimble, as he coaxed life back into forgotten timepieces. His eyes, a piercing blue that seemed to reflect the endless dance of time itself, held a depth that intrigued and unsettled Clara in equal measure. Clara had brought in a small silver pocket watch, a family heirloom that had stopped ticking. As Edward examined it, his brow furrowed in concentration, she found herself captivated by the way his hands moved with such precision and care. It was as if he wasn't just repairing a watch, but mending a piece of time itself. "It will be ready by tomorrow," Edward's voice, raspy with age and tinged with a faint accent Clara couldn't quite place, broke through her thoughts. "But be warned, child, do not, under any circumstances, return for it after midnight." His words, spoken with an unsettling intensity, sent a shiver down Clara's spine. She nodded, more out of politeness than understanding, and left the shop, her mind awhirl with questions. That night, sleep eluded Clara. The clockmaker's words echoed in her mind, fueling her curiosity. What was so special about midnight? Why the air of secrecy? Driven by an impulse she couldn't quite explain, she decided to return to the shop just before the clock struck 12. As the grandfather clock in the town square chimed 11 times, Clara approached Edward's Emporium of Time. A strange harmony filled the air, a symphony of ticks and tocks emanating from the shop. With a deep breath, she reached for the doorknob. It was locked. Peering through the window, her breath caught in her throat. The shop was bathed in an ethereal glow, the air thick with swirling mist. The clocks, usually silent sentinels of time, were all ticking in unison, their hands spinning wildly. And Edward, his back to her, stood amidst the chaos, his arms outstretched as if conducting this impossible orchestra. As the final chime of midnight echoed through the square, the light in the shop flared once more, then vanished. The mist dissipated, and the shop stood dark and silent. Clara stared, her heart pounding, at the empty space where Edward and his clocks had been only moments before.